So far away Lucas and lovely audience at home, welcome to another episode of Wiki Weekends, the series where we scour the lengths and breadths of the internet to find a wiki on a subject we're interested in to see what information it contains and what conversation arises as a result. And today we're talking about one of the original World Warriors, Chun-li.
You've been perfect.
And faraway Lucas, what do you think about good old Chun-li? Chunners, as some people like to call her. Mainly just our friend group for some reason. I don't know why we started calling Chun-li Chunners, but I like it. What are your thoughts on Chun-li?
I think Chun-li is incredible and one of my favourite and just like most iconic fighting game characters of all time, of course. And I'm just really upset they're not ever in Smash Bros.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Chun-li has been in a lot of crossover games. I think next to Ryu and Ken, she is like the Street Fighter. Like when you think Street Fighter in your head, people think Ryu, they think Ken, or they think Chun-li. They are like the trifecta of that series. And I think Chun-li is a better representative of Street Fighter just because her design is more visually distinct than Ryu's. Like Ryu's is classic, but there's a lot of characters who look like Ryu, mainly because they were trying to rip off Ryu. Chun-li has always stood out.
It is just man in gi.
Yeah.
As well, which is iconic and is very representative of just martial arts in general. But
he's just karate man,
yeah.
Come on, let's see what you've got.
Master of the Iron Fist? Show me.
It's like the thing about Ryu is you go like so we're doing Chun-li's wiki, because if you read Ryu's wiki, it's like name Ryu, fighting style karate, blood type karate, favourite hobby karate. All he cares about is fighting. Whereas Chun-li is a more rounded character in that regard. Like, for example, she's a cop. So we got like boo, we got to boo her for being a cop. But you know, she has other things that make her likeable.
Yeah, it's like you always forget she's a cop. It's like, oh god damn it, Chun-li.
And we're going to start with a quote from Chun-li, which I think is fairly accurate, and it's a quote from Street Fighter 2. I am the strongest woman in the world. And within the Street Fighter universe, is there really anybody who can challenge that claim?
Hard-kicking fighting machine, Chun-li!
I do not remember the name of them because I haven't played much Street Fighter 6, but there is the new Muscle Mummy character in SF6.
Take my life! Take all of it! Convinced yet?
I still think Chun-Li's stronger, because Marissa can't throw fireballs or turn completely upside down and fly across the screen.
That's true.
Like, Marissa is strong, but can she fly? Chun-li can fly. Imagine the level of, like, thigh strength you need to physically just hover off the ground.
To become helicopter.
I would argue she probably is the strongest woman in the world in the Street Fighter universe. And in all the crossover appearances she's had, she probably is still one of the strongest people on the planet.
Strong enough to take out Galactus, Karl.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. She can take out Galactus. She gives him those lightning legs. Gives him those lightning leg loops. But Chun-li, also known as Martial Arts Master, that's like a title in one of the earlier games, is the Tritagonist. I like that word, Tritagonist. Isn't that a fun word to say?
Yeah, I've never heard that before, but that's good.
And main female protagonist of the Street Fighter series, debuting in Street Fighter 2. So she is not one of the original World Warriors. That title belongs to Ryu and Ken, but she's been in the game since Street Fighter 2, and since then has been a staple of the series.
I mean, Karl, like, Street Fighter 2 is basically the start of the Street Fighter franchise.
Do you mean Street Fighter 2, or do you mean Street Fighter 2 EX Turbo, or Street Fighter 2 EX Turbo Alpha, or Street Fighter 2 Complete Edition?
Or Championship Edition, or Turbo Edition, or Super HD Edition. Goddamn.
Do you remember when Dead Rising 4 had that, like, DLC advert where they acknowledged that Capcom does that? Where it was called, like, Dead Rising 4 Super Complete Turbo Championship Edition or something like that.
Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition EX Plus Alpha! Tofu?
Which is even better because that was also a Capcom game. They were just pointing the finger at themselves.
But we mentioned earlier that the first female fighter in the series, she is an expert martial artist and Interpol officer who relentlessly seeks revenge for the death of her father at the hands of M. Bison. So I guess I've got to put the clip in the Raul Julia speech of, for you, the day that bison visited your village was the biggest day of your life. For me,
it was Tuesday.
Just one of the most memeable lines I've heard in a long time.
Raul Julia absolutely killed that role because he knew exactly what the assignment was. And the assignment was norm the scenery.
For I beheld Satan, and he fell from heaven like lightning!
Yeah, I think we need to do a Wiki Weekends on that movie at some point, just because apparently behind the scenes it was just like Jean-Claude Van Damme getting coked out of his brain and not turning up half the time.
Yo, yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme was like coked off his tits and constantly trying to hit on Kylie Minogue. Because Kylie Minogue was in that playing Cammy. And you always forget.
You're just wasting your strength. Hit fast and with finesse.
It's like, wait, what?
forget
Kylie
about
Minogue's in this movie?
Yeah, it's a surprisingly stacked cast, and then, then we can do a wiki on, like, Street Fighter, the movie, the game.
Oh, man, like, Street Fighter, the movie, the game is hilarious because it added, like, new characters who weren't in the film. There's a guy called, like, Blade, and his special moves, he just throws a knife, and that's it.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? That is a wiki for another day, though, Luke. We have some basic biographical information about Chun-Li here. So, her height is 5'7". Her weight is a secret, and that has been like a running gag in every Street Fighter game since her appearance, where you have your height and weight of your fighters. Chun-Li's has always been top secret.
I mean, she should be very glad then that there's not any kind of rules about, like, weight classes.
Like, Zangief can fight anyone on the cast in any of those World Warrior tournaments. There are no weight limits in Street Fighter. Abigail turns up for one of those, and he's like the guy who's like 11.5 feet tall. And just to be clear, I said Zangief then, because that's apparently how it's pronounced in the games. And can we just say, Capcom, just come to a consensus on how Zangief's name is pronounced? Because is it Zangief? Is it Zangief? Because it changes between games, and every time I say it one way, someone corrects me that it's actually the other way. But then I'll go listen to, like, an announcer in a game pronounce it, and they'll pronounce it the other way.
Hey guys, welcome to the Character Guide for Zangief, where you will learn everything you need to know about the Iron Cyclone in Street Fighter V.
I, Zangief, shall be your partner.
Yeah, it's never really been consistent.
What's the thing, like, how do you pronounce it? Is it Zangief or is it Zangief? 'Cause to me, it's Zangief.
I always grew up saying Zangief because I guess I just don't know what that name is. I'd never heard of it before.
But then just apparently in Street Fighter 6 they say Zangief wins. It's like, wait, what? You can't keep doing this to us, Capcom. You can't keep doing this.
Maybe they've just been getting it wrong the entire time and they've just retconned it like, shh, don't question it.
Oh, it's like, and then her birthday is March 1st. So if you remember, like, they had like the big celebration earlier in like this year. It's like, oh, it's Chun-Li's birthday. She's like 50 odd years old and still killing it.
Oh, Christ. You can tell that I'm not with it, just in general, in life, because I was like, oh, March 1st, that's the day of recording this. It's like, no.
No, it's April 1st, Lucas. It's a month later.
I'm
Get on
a
it.
month off.
And then her fighting style is martial arts, specifically Kung Fu Tai Chi. And one of my pet peeves about fighting games is when characters don't have a designated fighting style, when it's just listed as martial arts. And do you know where this is really prevalent and it annoys me every time I boot the game up?
Mortal Kombat.
Tekken 8. So in Tekken 8, on the character select screen, it gives you like a little brief overview of every character that you pick. It tells you their name, their height, their weight, their fighting style, and where in the world that they were born. The problem is, 50% of the cast fighting style is simply listed as martial arts.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Including martial law, who specifically says, I fight with martial arts. As in his name, Marshall. But on the character select screen, it says Marshall with a T, not an SH.
Do you want to learn martial arts?
Also, it's obvious that Laurie's doing Jeet Kune Do because he's based on fucking Bruce Lee.
It's wild to me that of all games, Tekken is like that, because I thought they were quite specific with which martial arts people use.
Well, that's the thing, though. Some of the characters, it does specifically say what martial arts they use, and other ones just says martial arts. It's like, you can't do this. It's really, really annoying. Then we have her likes and her dislikes. Her likes include crepes, fruit, candy, confectionery. Her father, you know, who she wants to avenge before going out and being a young, free, single girl, which is the greatest screenshot in Street Fighter 2. Do you when you get to her ending and it says, "I've avenged you, father," in front of the grave, and it smash cuts to her in the club? Do you remember that?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the ending of Street Fighter 2 is her like praying to her dad's grave, like, "I've avenged you, father. Now to go be a young single woman," and it's just her in the club.
God.
And I'm now just picturing, imagine Chun-Li in the club, and she just turns upside down and starts spinning.
Oh my god.
Like, unstoppable. You're not gonna be able to beat that, are you?
Look, imagine putting her in a breakdance competition. It's like, she does a couple of moves and then she just starts flying.
It's like, I'm sorry, I can't top that. There's no way I'm topping that fighting style. But then we have here, she also enjoys days off, skeet shooting. Apparently, like, you know, she's a world-class skeet shooter, which I think is, I love, it's such a random thing for Chun-Li to enjoy. Shopping, and her apprentice, Li Fen. Her dislikes are M. Bison, crime, people who can't get to the point, so she'd hate me. Shady people, she'd definitely hate me. Indecisiveness, I'm not sure if she'd, like, hate me. And Shadaloo.
I don't know why you've classed yourself as a shady person.
It's just funny, It's for the joke, Luke. It's for the joke. And then her rivals is, like, half the fucking cast. Because she's been in Street Fighter for so long. Of course, she has a friendly rival with most of the cast, and then, like, a real rival with the rest of them.
So are there any, like, main rivals of Chun-Li's that I'm not aware of?
M. Bison, of course, but also Jury, who she has, like, you know, a friendly on-off rivalry with, because obviously Jury's evil, but is she really that evil, or is she just bored?
Mm-hmm.
She also, you know, has a friendly rivalry with Guile, Sakura, Ryu, and Ken. And I do like the relationship between Ryu, Ken, and Chun-Li, where basically Chun-Li and Ken are just Ryu's adoptive parents. He's a fucking idiot who doesn't know what he's doing. All he knows is martial arts. Like
but he is very good at it.
Yeah, like in Street Fighter 6, Chun-Li says, yeah, I had to take Ryu shopping because he doesn't have shoes. And they don't let him on planes when he's not wearing shoes, and he doesn't understand why. She had to buy Ryu shoes.
He'll just walk there, it's fine.
What's the thing? He says, like, you know, all he does is travel the world. It's like, you know, go to fighting, so he has to get on airplanes. And he says, like, yeah, I didn't really understand why they won't let me on airplanes till Chun-Li said, you've got to wear shoes, Ryu. And it's really like Ken would send Ryu money because, like, just Ryu would just not save any of his money because he didn't need it. Oh, God. You know, before he lost it all, you know, in his Ken FTs. They took the kids, Ryu.
No.
Is that, like, one of the funniest, like, just character redesign justifications of... People don't know. Ken in Street Fighter 6 is, like, homeless and he's lost his wife and kids because he invested it all into crypto.
I actually didn't know that backstory. It's
something like he lost it all in a bad investment and everyone joked that it was crypto and they call it the Ken FTs. That's why you have, like, homeless Ken. It's like, oh no, homeless Ken.
Oh, he actually did lose his money. He doesn't just look homeless.
And that reminds me a little bit of a character I think me and you are both fans of, and that's Paul Phoenix from the Tekken series.
Mm-hmm.
Where in Tekken 4, he goes from, like, his biker look, where he has, like, the classic eraser head haircuts. He's just literally letting his hair down. And the story reason why he does that is because he just gives up on fighting, because he got his, like, you know, he beat Ogre in Tekken 3, and then True Ogre turned up and Jin beat him, and he's like, well, this fucking sucks. I'm just going to give up. I won.
Paul went undefeated through the entire King of Iron Fist Tournament 3, and even triumphed over Ogre. Swelling with pride, Paul returned home. However, unknown to Paul, Ogre morphed into his second form, True Ogre, and the tournament continued after his departure.
I beat the god of fighting. There's nothing more to prove. And everyone gives him shit for it, of, like, him just wandering around with, like, you know, like supermodels on his arm. And he's like, nah, fuck you, I've let my hair down, super cool.
It's like, I beat the god of fighting. What else do you want me to do?
That's the thing, like, there's a quite good parallel between Paul and Chun-Li here, because Paul's, like, quote is, I'm the strongest in the universe. That's his goal, to become the strongest man in the universe, and he beats a god. What more has he got to prove? But then, like, his ending in Tekken 4 is him walking past, like, martial law's dojo, and he sees a picture of him, like, the biker haircut, and he's like, man, I was so fucking cool when I had that haircut.
Paul! Hey, Paul!
So he just leaves the girl he's with on the street and gets his bike out of storage.
Ain't my style.
I don't ever forgive them for trying to give him a different haircut than that, just a razor head.
They can never change that haircut. It's the most iconic thing about the character. It's like with Chun-Li. They can mix up her like design as much as they want, but she's always got to have, the buns on the side of her head.
And the Guile.
The Guile, they will never change Guile's flat top.
They can't. They just can't be done.
The foundation on which the Guile kingdom is built, flash kick.
That and his fucking SF2 theme.
That's that hair. You could build anything on that hair. That is the foundation of that man's life.
I was just going to say his fucking Street Fighter 2 theme of, like, it goes so hard.
Let's talk about the themes then, because, like, Street Fighter 2 is the game, I think, as you said, it basically invented what Street Fighter is. Why are the themes in that game so good?
Oh, they're incredible.
Like, Chun-Li's theme, I fucking love Chun-Li's theme.
Ken's theme as well, Vega's theme I like.
Every theme is great. Like a Dalsim's theme. Like, they're all great. They're all fucking fantastic. In that vein, do you have like a fighting game theme that you were a fan of that maybe people aren't too familiar with, that I can share with the folks at home? Because while you're going to think, I have one, and it is Pullum's theme. So, Lucas, do you have any like fighting game themes you'd like to share with the class?
So, if one song that I want to give props to that's not fighting game theme, but I guess I'll get to the theme one first, which is from one of our favourite fighters, Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yes, that game has some absolutely banging themes for each character, and which is the one you'd like to highlight?
The one I would like to highlight is Cooler's theme.
So we're going to highlight Cooler's theme. Is it because it just goes so hard out of nowhere?
It just goes so hard for Cooler.
Yeah.
And it's like Cooler's cool, but
Cooler,
like, it's Cooler.
He's got like 4 minutes of screen time in Dragon Ball canon. They went, like his song is longer than his screen time.
Basically, yeah.
I also quite like the Captain Ginyu theme, because it sounds like a Super Sentai theme, like a Power Rangers thing, because obviously they're inspired by like the Super Sentai show. But also, it sounds heroic. But he's a villain, but he's heroic in his own head.
Yes, of course. He is one of the heroes of the Frieza Force.
He is indeed, yes. And and him rocking up onto the battlefield is something that would be seen as a positive for the people he's helping. Not necessarily Goku. Would you have any, and what was the other theme you wanted to highlight?
The other song I wanted to highlight isn't necessarily a fighting theme, but it is in the fighting game, which is Smash Bros. And I just want to let everyone be aware that there is a song in there called Ring a Ding.
I knew it was going to be Ring a Ding. Because that's the song we always pick when we play Smash Bros. And our friends like, no, play Megalovania. It's like, no, but Ring a Ding.
But Ring a Ding.
Ring a Ding.
Just if anyone's got Smash Bros. Ultimate and you haven't unlocked Ring a Ding in the shop, go and try and unlock Ring a Ding. It's great.
It's why does it go so hard out of nowhere? It's great. And this thing is though, When you got like two Ganondorfs like squaring up to each other, then Ring a Ding starts playing, you know it's going to be a good match.
It's such a catchy little...
My, chief complaints about fighting games right now, because we are undergoing something of a renaissance of fighting games. We've got like Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, and Tekken 8, all out within like 6 months of each other. The music's just not good. And I really don't like the focus a lot of fighting games have taken on modern music, because when they focus on having like modern sounding soundtracks in them,
when it's all said and done, they gon' call me a legend.
Which is great the year the game is released. And that's it. And as a result, the soundtrack ages so poorly. And the best example of what I'm talking about here is the game Tekken 7, which has possibly the worst soundtrack for any fighting game I have heard, because it's all dubstep.
Right.
But the game was in development when dubstep was cool, and then it had like, a 10-year lifespan when dubstep was no longer cool. And just when you go onto like the rooftop level and it goes into like the climax mode, and it's just do, and you're like... The fuck is this? This sounds terrible. Just give me Moonlight Wilderness again.
Yeah, and, obviously Moonlight Wilderness is a good example of, like, something that's more of a proper musical piece rather than just a theme song. But I do miss the days of just going back to, sound like a real old person here. Let's go back to the good old days where it's just simple themes, but it made each song super catchy for each character.
Also, as well, they were distinct. They had like distinct melodies you could listen out for. And I know Street Fighter 6 has like influences from those like initial character themes, but just they're not bombastic enough. Like when you're playing Dragon Ball Fighters and you're like, which songs should we put on? There's like you want to hear some of the songs in that because they're fucking sick. You put on like Street Fighter 6, it's like, do you care what stage you fight on? Well, no, all the stages are the exact same size and all the theme songs suck.
Yeah.
You don't have the thing of like, I'm going to counterpick Chun-Li's stage to listen to Chun-Li's theme. Because Chun-Li's theme is just like really muted and it's like largely in the background. And it's why I'll give props to Tekken 8, because not all the music is great, but some of them are bangers, like Victor's theme on his like the French stage, like a fight on the Seine, where it just has like just the random saxophone solo halfway through the song. It's like, that's pretty good. That one I like.
Yeah, that one was pretty good when I was just listening to you play some Tekken.
Or like Reyna's theme. Reyna's theme's really good. But then again, there's some other ones that aren't quite so great. And it's just, don't be embarrassed to put a little bit of cheese in there. Just a little bit. But these characters are like 30, 40 years old at this point. It's not a bad thing to play like, the Street Fighter 2 soundtrack again. And then it's baffling to me that Street Fighter 6 doesn't have the option to just listen to the Street Fighter 2 soundtrack during gameplay. I know you can in like the World Tour mode, but you can't do it when you're like, having a match against someone else.
It's in the game, but they don't let you choose it?
No. I think it's in the World Tour mode, but you don't have it in like tournament mode or anything, which is kind of...
The hell?
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, back to Chun-Li. Her name. Chun-Li's name is Mandarin for Spring Beauty. It is properly romanized as Chun-Li in Pinyin and should be pronounced Chuen-Li, despite Westerners commonly pronouncing it as Chun-Li, which is fair. And that maybe that's like the Zangief thing, isn't it? Like maybe it's supposed to be pronounced Zangief, but people romanize it as Zangief. Say with Chun-Li, it should be Chuen-Li, but we pronounce it Chun-Li, and now that's just kind of stuck, even though that's not technically how it should be pronounced.
It kind of reminds me of the relatively recent controversy about the character in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, of Kate Sith.
Yes.
Where That, I think, forgive me, I don't know the actual pronunciation, but in Gaelic that's pronounced something like Catshi, I think.
They say curiosity killed the cat.
Then in game, because like they mustn't have known that at the time at Square Enix, they just pronounced it as it was read. They just doubled down and went, no, this character's called Kate Sith.
And that wouldn't be as bad if not for the fact they gave Kate Sith a Scottish accent. And it's like, the name in Gaelic would not be pronounced this way. And, you know, Final Fantasy's not been the best for that. Never forget, Lucas, we have the character of Tidus, which they officially say is pronounced Tidus. Even though the entire game he's in has a water theme and his name is Tide. Tidus. And no, it's Tidus.
Yeah, you would imagine it's Tidus because the fitting theme with the water, and as you say, that just the tide, but like even as well, it fits the theme of other characters
within
from the Final Fantasy like protagonist realm of like lightning and cloud, where they're like weather-based names.
Or squall, and it's like, oh. Anyway, clothing. Chun-Li wears a qipao, a Chinese dress imported over from Manchuria that became popular among girls during the early 20th century. Her outfit is modified to allow her a far wider range of movement, such as doing the full splits and turning upside down.
I just like the idea that it's not even for the range of movement, it's just to fit the thighs in there.
Well, that's the thing, it does mention here that, she does have large muscular thighs that would necessitate having a customized version of that outfit. And Chun-Li, that outfit has been, like, fairly consistent over, time, but there are some fucking top-tier redesigns she's had over the years. For example, are you familiar with her redesign in the Alpha series?
I've probably seen a screenshot of it before.
So I'm just going to send you it now so you can like remind yourself of the Street Fighter Alpha redesign that she had, because I think that is like also fucking top tier. Where she's got like the yellow trainers.
Yeah, I do love that design, yes.
Like Chun-Li's like training outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's always had some like just absolutely just top tier redesigns, but they always give you that classic one because they know you want the classic.
I'll show you the power of my kung fu.
You do always want the classic because it's such a strong look, and want to shout out one that we've already mentioned on a few other videos of just when she became a Power Ranger that one time.
I won't let evil go unchecked.
Ryu is the poster boy for the series, but Ryu never really gets any redesigns. And the one time they did give him a cool redesign, they shied away from it because it was too hot.
Yeah, I can't believe that just Beard Daddy Ryu didn't become default.
It's more that people saw it was too hot. It's too much to handle. Like, do you know the Squidward thing? Like, oh no, he's hot. It's like, we can't handle it. We can't have hot Ryu be default Ryu.
Don't be intimidated, Squidward. Try to imagine him in his underwear. Oh no, he's hot!
I guess not, because he's meant to be kind of the plain Jane of the universe, right? It's like he's meant to be Mr. Basic.
But we see as well now he's just Chad Ryu. Like literally, when jokes he's got like the little bit of stubble, and you can dick around on like the character select screen. If you make him like look up to like the top right, and the character select, he literally does the Chad pose. You're the I can't do it because I don't have like the jawline of a god like Ryu does, where he literally looks like that meme, especially when he's fighting Luke, and it's so fucking funny.
Oh god.
And Lucas, let's move swiftly on now to gameplay. And what do you consider to be the iconic move of Chun-Li's arsenal? Because we've mentioned the spinning bird kick a few times, but do you think spinning bird kick is more iconic than lightning legs at this point?
I think it is, personally. I would say at this point, spinning bird kick is a number one move, but you can't forget about the lightning legs.
Lightning legs is like one of the first special moves a lot of people probably did, because it's just you mash kick.
Yeah, exactly right. It's like, when you don't know how to play the game and you're just hitting buttons, you're probably going to pull off lightning legs anyway. Yeah,
it's either that or Thousand Hand Slap from E-Honda. Mm-hmm. And I always thought there should have been a thing about they should have clashed with that, like E-Honda with the Thousand Slap and Chun-Li with the lightning legs.
Oh man, they should both just like Daigo parry one another, shouldn't they?
Do you want to explain that? Because that's a reference me and you get, but it might be a little old school for some of the people watching at home who maybe aren't familiar with what the Daigo parry is.
Yeah, and for people who are maybe a little bit less in tune with like the fighting game community, And I think it's called, is it Evo Moment 42, is it?
Evo Moment 37.
37,
The joke
I don't know
being
where
that
I got
there's no
42
Evo
from.
Moment 31 through 1 through 36.
So yeah, it's a moment from Evo, the fighting game tournament, where essentially it was Justin Wong who was in the lead with Ken, I believe.
Yes.
And then the other fighter in the tournament was Daigo, and it was like just this. I think it was it a finals or was it just a
No,
fight
it was just,
in the
a
tournament?
pools match, I think. I think that's the joke.
Was
Like,
it?
it's one
Yeah.
of the hypest thing that's ever happened in a fighting game tournament. And it was just a pools match, and I think it's Justin Wong is using Chun-Li, and Daigo's using Ken.
Rare footage of Daigo actually angry. Justin's turtle style.
Oh yes, of course it is, because Chun-Li's the one that loses.
Yes.
Unfortunately for Justin Wong, so Ken has a sliver of health left.
Basically, one hit will kill him. One clean hit will win the match.
Yeah, any hit will do. And then Chun-Li is like, I've got you. I'm going to activate my super move, which is a long combination of like multiple kicks.
Yeah.
And they're all like, up, like a high kick, low kick, middle kick, high kick, low kick, middle kick. And it's just super fast. And then they manage to perfect parry every single hit in the entire super move and then retaliate and win the fight.
Yeah, so like the only thing Daigo could have done to not die is perfect parry, which requires like near frame perfect inputs like 15 times in a row, which he does and then counters with a combo that wins the match. And I feel so bad for Justin Wong because it keeps happening to him. Have you seen it keeps happening to him? Like, people keep doing it to him online.
Yeah, because it's become that iconic within the fighting game community that people have obviously learned how to perfect parry that super from Chun-Li just to replay the moment. And the fact that, like, Justin Wong every now and then will just post another clip of, like, it happened to me again.
Yeah, like, he'll be playing some Street Fighter online. I think there's even one where he says, oh, this guy thinks he's Daigo, and he doesn't see when the guy does the fucking Daigo parry to him.
Oh, he got it? You think he got it, bro? You think he Daigo? You ain't Daigo. Oh, he's Daigo! He's Daigo! He's Daigo! No!
But in specific regards to Chun-Li, she is the original fast character in the Street Fighter series, utilising multiple rapid attacks rather than slow, damaging strikes of larger characters like Zangief. Her agile and swift movements are a favourite among game players. It's interesting to note that in the early days of arcade fighting games, many other female characters played in a similarly speedy style, following the example set by Chun-Li. And that's the thing, that's generally how it works in like fighting games. Like, the smaller characters tend to be faster and like do less damage than the larger characters. And for the most part, the larger characters tend to be men, with some exceptions, such as the aforementioned Marissa.
Yeah, it's nice that nowadays we're not leaning too hard into those stereotypes of all the women have to be the smaller, like, speedier characters, and all of the men have to be the bigger, stronger characters.
It's also, as well, it just gives us more opportunity for cool designs. Like, when you give characters like atypical body types, it means you have the opportunity for a more interesting gameplay style for that character.
Bob.
And Lucas, in honour of Chun-Li being one of, like, the trailblazers in regards to fighting game representation for women, let's now talk about the ladies of fighting games. And do you have a favourite, perhaps more obscure lady of fighting games? Because I'm going to just throw down the gauntlet of Nicole from Dead or Alive 4.
Okay.
Do you remember
I
Nicole?
don't remember who Nicole is.
She was the Spartan 2.
Winner! And that is how you hit like a girl.
Remember they just put a Spartan in Dead or Alive 4 and everyone thought it was Master Chief? Like, no, it's Nicole. It's just a female Spartan who's like 7 feet tall.
Oh god, the jiggle physics on a Spartan.
There's no jiggle physics. The only jiggle physics is when she sticks you with that plasma grenade and hurls you down a flight of fucking stairs.
Oh god.
I miss guest characters like that. I miss when they do that.
Like all the Soul Calibur ones.
The Soul Calibur ones were great because Link was just the best one. Link was so good.
Link was probably too good because they gave him, like, ranged weaponry.
They gave him a bow and arrow in a fucking fighting game. Do you have a favourite fighting game lady? Perhaps a more obscure one? On its own, let us know your favourite fighting game lady in the comments.
There's quite a few that I can think of off the top of my head. Like, I often prefer to play females in fighting games, which, you know, just really frustrates me when I'm trying to put a team together of 3 women and fight a Z. It's like, no, it's like, goddamn.
Yeah, you can.
It's like
Videl, backed up by a man. Android 18, backed up by a man. And it's like, god damn it all, one of the 2 Android 21s.
Oh, yeah, it's not great in there, but I did always find myself when I was playing Marvel vs. Capcom, I always put Felicia in my team.
Yeah, Felicia from the Darkstalkers series is like the everybody help. He just calls it the homies and just like the cat stamping on you. And I guess, yeah, we've got to give a shout out to Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, where Chun-Li's in that. She's not very good. She's not very high up the tier list, but I think the version of Chun-Li in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is the definitive version of Chun-Li. Because have you ever seen like how fast she is in X Factor? Where she's just X Factor! Yeah. She's like fucking just Z-stepping everywhere.
Are we about to see a Chun come back right now? Oh, the respect. Another air throw goes for the X Factor. He's ready to build this momentum. He wants to get Hawkeye in this match and out of this match as fast as possible. Oh!
Ryan LV, the God!
And then I guess just in terms of great female fighting game characters, I can't not just mention the entire game, Skullgirls.
Oh, Skullgirls, yeah, like almost every character in that game has just an absolutely just 10 on 10 top tier design.
You'll need a thorough dusting.
Yeah, and I love how just completely over the top they are, exaggerated and cartoonish, and you find that with a lot of other fighting games where, say for example like Blaze Blue, they have really over exaggerated designs, as does like Guilty Gear, made by the same people.
Mate, have you seen like Guilty Gear's newest character, Abba?
No, I've not.
It's like she's just insane. And everyone's like, why did they go this hard on this character? It's like you see like Elfette, where it's like, oh yeah, it's like, you know, she's an idol, like she's a robot who's an idol, but she sings death metal.
Oh my god.
And then like her windscreen is her doing a death metal scream. It's like, what is this character?
It's so cool. And then just, you know, give a shout out to another one of my favourite Street Fighter characters of just get that Jury on screen.
Jury's so good. And like I love that they went, you know what? All the weirdos play Jury. Let's just give them a little bit of something. Give them a little bit. Let them tickle those toes. Let's see those little piggies. And it's like, oh no.
That's not quite the reason I started to enjoy Jury in the first place.
It's the reason a lot of people play Jury, though. Let's be honest.
It's you know when they say like the Venn diagram's basically a circle.
Yeah.
It's like yeah.
So they all want to see them little piggies, and like, you know what, they delivered in Street Fighter 6, and like the fact that her like critical like level 3 is like she just puts the foot on your face and rubs it in your face, like that feels good. It's like, oh no.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Such a lovely face.
So yes, audience at home, let us know your favourite female fighting game character, because there's so many good ones that we've not even talked about like Virtua Fighter. Like I love Vanessa from Virtua Fighter, where she's like the kickboxer. And just, I always love that she like Virtua Fighter is like very I'm not gonna say simple, because it's actually one of the most mechanically in-depth fighting games to exist, but it's not as flashy as other fighting games. But just I always remember her having just like a really simple, just like helicopter kick, which is like just 2 kicks, but it was really good for ring outs. And Virtua Fighter is one of those games where ring outs are always hilarious. It's like someone falls off like a 1 foot high drop, but then they lose.
Ring out!
Oh, Soul Calibur! We didn't even talk about Soul Calibur!
Yeah, we didn't even talk about, like, freaking, I can't remember her name now. Is it Ivy?
Ivy. Oh, you can't not talk about Ivy, with just, like, the most ridiculous Gazonka ever. I was going to talk about...
one of the...
Oh, sorry, go on.
And just one of the coolest weapons as well.
Oh, yeah, just the whip sword. She has, like, one of the hardest moves to pull off in, like, any fighting game, like Eternal Punishment, where just, like, the piece of the sword fly out and fly through your dick. I was going to mention Hilda, who's like the knight who fights with the spear, and she had one of like the coolest like ring out animations, because she'd get you on the end of the spear and throw you down, and that was always such a cool ring out to do, so like you threw them over walls.
Hilda is such a strong character. You always have to give it to the player playing her. It's not a Hilda match. And there's the ring out.
Oh, it's so fucking good. But yes, let us know your favourite fighting game character, the female persuasion, down in the comments below, or go to our Discord to continue the conversation there. That is also linked below. Thank you for watching, everybody, and let's end with just a little bit of trivia, Lucas, because there's one bit of trivia here I've seen. It's like, yeah, that tracks. So, according to an interview, Chun-Li's daily training regimen, at least during Street Fighter 2, includes 7,000 squats.
Oh my god.
Which tracks for a woman with thighs like that. And bench pressing 150 kilos. As a result of her daily training, she takes pride in her footwork. This spectacular active rumour is that she's the target of Japan's female pro wrestling World Scouts. I'm not fucking surprised it's just 7,000 squats per day.
That's ridiculous.
7,000 squats per day. And all I can think is just like Zangief watching that and being like, amateur. Because he does more than that, 'cause that's all he needs. He's like, when you select him in Street Fighter 6, he's doing squats on the character select screen.
That's true.
Man's never not doing squats. But yes, thank you to everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you all next time.